Hello, thank you for being in a new video. This time I have unboxing the Galaxy A35 5G. Let's get started. This device is part of Samsung's mid-range. Its launch price in Mexico is 6,999 pesos. On the screen you see the reference price in dollars to give you an idea. But remember that the prices here are not the same as there. For this price, the truth is that it becomes one of the most attractive mid-range devices, especially because it has water resistance, which is something that at this price no one will be offering. So, join me in taking the contents out of the box to see what it brings. The first thing we come across is the cell phone, so let's get it out of here. And note that in this case I purchased the pink version, which projects at some angles certain different colors, although it is not so easy to see. But either way, it strikes me as a very traditional Samsung design device, very minimalist with the cameras on this side. You don't notice the difference between the different Galaxy devices so much, in this case debuting the key island, which is this little bump. So the design is nice. In this case the frame is still plastic, unlike the Galaxy A55 that already integrates aluminum frames. So let's get this cell phone powered up while we see what else comes in the box, which honestly looks like there won't be many surprises. We come across the traditional promo sheet for the Samsung Care Plus insurance that you can purchase in case it ever breaks down. Due to some accident, if you drop it or something, the insurance can cover quite a bit of the repair cost, and that's something that can come in handy there depending on your spending habits. So let's see now what's on the other side of the box, because if you didn't know, here's another little hidden box. Although, as you can notice, there is really very little content. Here comes the key to remove the SIM card or micro SD card tray. And in this part we are going to find the cable that comes from USB-C to USB-C, but we don't have a charger. The charger you have to buy separately. That's something that always bothers Samsung cell phones, although the good news is that it does support 25 watts charging, so for the price range I think it will charge pretty fast. But yes, you have to consider investing a little more in acquiring a charger of these, or you can also purchase any other charger from another brand that has compatibility with the power delivery standard, and anyway it will also give you a fast charge. So that's all there is in the box. The truth is little content. We do not include charger, we do not include case, much less we include headphones. But as I acquired it in pre-sale, what they do include is a Galaxy Fit 3. So that is good news for those who take advantage of the pre-sale, because this accessory still has a price of more or less 1,000 Mexican pesos. So if you consider both devices for this price, the truth is that it is a highly recommended purchase. So now, let me save all this content, and we take a look at the cell phone to know its specifications. I've already got the device set up here in my hands so we can get a feel for its specifications. It has a weight of 209 grams and a thickness of 8.2 millimeters. In this sense, it does not become a remarkable device, but it stays in the average. We could not ask for more. Remember that we are talking about a mid-range device. The frame of this device is made of plastic, unlike the Galaxy A55, which already comes with aluminum frames. So I'm just going to remove all this coating that it comes with just to protect the device, to have the most accurate feel. Also remember it's debuting the key island. That I already told you is this little relief that it has to place the buttons, giving it a nice style in the design. The screen is 6.6 inches in its diagonal with full HD plus resolution and Super AMOLED technology plus 120 Hz in its refresh rate. So it's a screen that's definitely on par with what one would expect. In fact, it may be a strong point because there are other displays in this same price range that are not as nice as this one. And it also has stereo sound with one speaker below and another speaker above. The truth is that as a first impression, the sound seems very good to me. And again, for this price range, it is something that few manufacturers give. The front camera is 13 megapixels with f2.2 aperture. Here I have the preview of nothing more than first impressions. Obviously the whole background still looks overexposed before taking the picture. And after taking the picture it seems to do a better job of balancing the highlights and shadows, although there is still some overexposed area. But it was definitely a pretty aggressive backlight. I'll tell you a little more detail in the review, but as a first impression I can tell you that the front camera looks fine to me. And on the back you have 50 megapixel main camera with f1.8 aperture, then 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera with f2.2 aperture, and finally a 5 megapixel macro camera with f2.4 aperture. It is curious because it is exactly the same photographic system that we find in the Galaxy A54 and also in the Galaxy A55, so the main camera has evolved from its last generation, which was 48 megapixels. I've got some evidence here. This is the ultra-wide camera, which I think gives us a good range and a sufficiently high level of detail. Then we have the main camera here, although the color difference between the ultra-wide and the main camera is a bit noticeable. Then I took a picture with 2x zoom and it seems to me that it still maintains excellent quality. And finally the photograph with 10x zoom also seems to me very good, especially considering the price. At this price it is possibly one of the best devices in this section. Now you are looking at a photograph of 50 megapixels, and I think if you get to take good advantage of the information of this sensor for this type of photographs that require a lot of detail. One of these two photographs is taken with the main camera applying 2x digital zoom, and another of the photographs is taken using the macro camera. I think it is very difficult to tell the difference. This is the photograph taken with the macro camera. It offers a very good level of detail. Honestly, it is superior to all macro cameras on the market that are 2 megapixels. However, the result is not much better than what the main camera can offer by applying 2x zoom. I think the main difference will be that it gives us a more uniform focus. Note how the main camera in this part does not show us so well focused that area. Even in this part it seems to be a little blurry, and the macro camera focuses much more evenly. Notice everything appears very well in focus, so that will be the main difference, and because it has 5 megapixels I don't consider it as useless as others that are 2 megapixels. One thing to note is that the device can record in 4K using the main camera and also the front camera. In the price range I think Samsung is positioned as the best manufacturer when it comes to video recording, because it does support 4K resolution even at this mid-range price. It also maintains certification against water and dust. So it can be submerged and it will not be damaged, or at least it has a better chance of surviving. Remember that this certification is more focused on accidents. The battery is 5000 milliamperes with support for 25 watt charging. Although you know it is sold separately. I was just commenting on that to you a moment ago. The battery I think is something where we don't see evolution, although very few manufacturers are really evolving on the battery this year. It gives us 128 gigabytes of storage with 6 gigabytes of RAM. In this case, there is no version with 256 gigabytes. Perhaps this could be a slightly weak point, although fortunately it does support micro SD. So there you can make up for a little bit, because there are other devices that in this price range already start to offer you 256 gigabytes. But Samsung has not yet done so at this price. Maybe the 6 gigabytes of RAM could come up slightly short, considering that Samsung includes a lot of options at the software level, so sometimes it could consume a lot of RAM. It comes with One UI 6 and Android 14 and a promise of many years of updates. That's another of the strongest points of this device, because it's not going to become obsolete as time goes by. In fact, it's already getting its update to One UI 6.1. And the processor is the Exynos 1280. That is the same processor that the Galaxy A54 uses. In fact, those devices are very similar in many ways. In a moment I'll tell you about their differences, but for now let me run this benchmark to see more or less what power this processor can offer us. And that's it, we have the score. 1012 points in single core and 2878 points in multi-core. Which for this price I think is very good. It gives us very good power. Remember that this processor is exactly the same one that's used in the Galaxy A54. That's why I was commenting to you that they are very similar devices. Let me tell you some differences. The Galaxy A35 still has a plastic cover, while the Galaxy A54 already has a glass cover. Although notice how the difference in camera design makes it look much more modern, the Galaxy A35. The front camera on the Galaxy A35 is 13 megapixels, while the one on the A54 is 32 megapixels. The key island is also something new. The screen is also larger on the Galaxy A35. And another difference is the RAM, which in the Galaxy A54 is 8 GB, while in the Galaxy A35 is 6 GB. So the truth is that they are very similar. They will surely give us a very similar experience as well. It will be up to you which one you go for. And regarding the Galaxy A34, something I had forgotten to mention to you is that it came with a notch, and now we finally have a more modern design. For the moment, we have reached the end of this video. If you liked it, you know you can point it out. And we'll see you next time.